What's up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Jess Nicole here. In today's video we are going to be doing a beginner's guide to flexibility. Now most of you have found me through my most viewed video at the current moment on YouTube is my how to increase your spinal flexibility. I will link it here if you have not seen it, but ever since I have posted that video I have gotten a lot of requests for a beginner's version of how to increase your spinal flexibility. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you different variation of exercises that are going to help you to increase your spinal flexibility, and this is meant for beginners, people who have never really stretched before, people who don't really know how to stretch, people who probably couldn't do my more advanced stretches in my other video. So in today's video all you really need is a yoga mat, but I do recommend that you start with a yoga strap, and I'm going to show you something with a yoga wheel as well. And if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and follow me on my socials at Jess Right Fitness, at the Jess Nicole on Instagram. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, you guys, so before we even hit the yoga mat, I want you to go ahead and start standing up, and we're gonna start on the wall. I like to do these exercises to warm up my back and open up my shoulders, open up my chest, and this will make all the other exercises that we do after this so much easier. So first what you're gonna do is find yourself a wall, like so. Start in star pose. This is star pose, but you're gonna put your hands on the wall. So I'm putting my hands on the wall, and as I put my hands on the wall, I let my chest sink down. Maybe push your butt out, straighten out your hamstrings, push your hips out. With each breath, let your chest sink a little bit deeper. And then you can reset, maybe put your hands a little bit higher this time, and let your chest sink even lower. That's getting you even deeper into this stretch. And another thing you can do if you don't want to be wide, you can come in and do closed. Maybe walk your hands out back to a wide. You know, take any organic movements, whatever feels good to your body. Just kind of sway here, sway your hips, sway your feet, your ankles. Get everything warmed up. This is our first stretch of this routine. And you can do this as many times as you want. You can sit here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know, look right, look left. You really just want to open up those hips, open up those shoulders, open up everything. All right, and now that we have done that, we're actually going to take a shoulder stretch here. So I'm going to take my left hand, bring it to the wall, like so, and I'm going to twist my body. My hand and my arm stays right here, but with each breath, I'm gonna twist a little bit more, and you will definitely feel this stretch all throughout that shoulder right there, which will help us get into our back stretches as well. Keep breathing here. And even here, I like to kind of walk my hand upwards and downwards on the wall so we can get that full range of motion. So just slowly walk your hands. Ooh. Ooh. All right, release that, maybe shake it out if you need to. And now we're gonna do the same thing with our right arm. So I'm taking my right arm to the wall, like so, and I'm twisting my body. Oh. And you will definitely feel that stretch in your shoulders. And if you're a beginner, you might not be able to twist as much. You might be like this, and that is completely fine. You're still stretching it out. You have to work up to this expectation. So again, let's maybe walk our hands upwards. And walk your hand downwards. And back up. And back down. breaths, maybe twist a little bit more. Whew, and release. Ooh. And that is just a few of my favorite stretches to do using the wall. So you should definitely feel warmed up in your shoulders, in your back. We definitely opened up the chest. And now we are gonna move on to our yoga mat.
All right, you guys, I had some technical difficulties when I recorded this video. So I recorded this video using my microphone, yet my microphone died on me before the video even started, and I did not know until it was over. So you're gonna see my mouth moving, but I'm gonna do a voiceover in order to walk you guys through this stretching routine. So first things first, the first thing I'm showing you here is what you're gonna need, which is the yoga wheel. That is a yoga wheel. Obviously, like I said, this is optional. You don't absolutely need it, but if you are a beginner and you are trying to get some spinal flexibility, definitely recommend a yoga wheel. And next we have a yoga strap. So again, you don't necessarily need it, but if you are a beginner, this is something that will definitely help you, and I will show you guys how to use this in this video. So first things first, we are going to start in tabletop position. In tabletop position, you want to make sure that your hips are over your knees and your shoulders are over your wrists. That will ensure that you are perfectly aligned. And from tabletop position, we are going to do a few cat-cow poses. So starting with cat pose, curl your spine up, bring your belly in, sink your head into your shoulders. Deep inhale here, exhale. Drop the belly down, arch the back, bring the gaze forward. And we're gonna repeat this a few times, so go at your own pace here. You don't necessarily have to go at my pace, but you guys get the idea. Be sure to make sure you're paying attention to your breathing here. Your breathing is going to guide you through all of these poses that we're gonna be doing today. Going into our last cat-cow pose, so bring up for cat and exhale for cow. Now we are going to push back into child's pose. So for child's pose, I like to put my toes together and spread my knees apart. This gives me more of a stretch in my hips, but this is optional. You can keep your knees together and just have your feet together and just push backwards, whichever feels more comfortable to you. Child's pose is a great stretch for the hips as well as for the shoulders and the back. So we're gonna stay here for a few moments, take a few deep breaths here. With each breath, try to sink a little bit closer into the mat. Today's poses are gonna be a slow flow. I really want you guys to feel these poses and get comfortable with these poses. This video is meant for beginners, so I want you to do what feels good to you without pushing your limits too far, but you definitely wanna challenge yourself today. All right, so coming out of child's pose, we're gonna go into downward dog. So go ahead and push yourself upwards, tuck your toes back, and push yourself up into downward dog. So you're basically gonna be in an upside down V shape here. And from here, I just like to walk out your dog is what they call it. You'll feel this in your calves definitely, so just maybe take turns putting one heel down, or maybe your heel doesn't even come to the floor. Just walk your feet out, keep pushing back. You'll feel this in your shoulders, you'll feel this in your back, and we won't stay here too long.
And from here, let's drop down into a low plank and then slowly lower down for Cobra Pose. So let's not confuse Cobra Pose with Upward Dog. Cobra Pose is about half of Upward Dog. So from here, let's just work on stretching that upper spine. So slowly lower up. And as you see, I'm not bringing my whole upper body up. Really just my neck, my head, my shoulders come back down. And then slowly push back up. So this is Cobra Pose because we're not pushing ourselves all the way up like we would an Upward Dog. And slowly lower back down. And now we're gonna push into Upward Dog. So for Upward Dog, you wanna still push through your forearms. You don't necessarily wanna push through your wrists, but think more so of you curling your spine backwards. Rather than pushing through your chest and pushing through your shoulders, think more so of just curling your spine back. And that'll give you that stretch that's gonna feel really, really good to the lower back. So let's push back up into Upward Dog, and we're gonna stay here a moment. Take some organic movements, maybe tilt your head to the left, tilt it to the right, swirl your head, whatever feels good here. You really want to open up those neck, the shoulders, the chest. A whole upper body is getting a really nice stretch here, especially the ab. And take a look at my arms and make sure that you are not locking your elbows like I'm doing here, because this is pushing more through your arms, and you want to just have a slight bend in your elbows and just curl backwards. So I like to bring my feet up just to kind of deepen my stretch. Maybe this feels good to you, or maybe this is too hard for you. This is completely optional. You do not have to take this. We're going to come back down and go back into that Upward Dog. So pushing back up, and again, I'm gonna bring my feet to my head. Again, this is optional. This is just a way to deepen your stretch. And go ahead and release and come back down. And now we are gonna prepare for another spine stretch. So I like to start by just grabbing my back foot. So I'm gonna take my right hand and grab my right foot. And maybe this is enough for you here. So maybe you do one side at a time. Or maybe this is easy and you want to do both sides. So now I'm going to take my left hand and grab my left foot. This is a great stretch for your quads, but this is also opening up those shoulders as well as increasing some spinal flexibility. So this may be hard for you guys to do to start, but just work up to this expectation. And once you're here, work up into lifting up. You see how my back is arching even more. Great spinal stretch here. But again, I showed you guys how to get in this to start. So start there. Always start with what feels comfortable to you. So we're gonna release that, relax our muscles, and take a few deep breaths here. And we're gonna go back into that pose. So again, let's bring our right hand to our right foot. And if this feels good to you, take your left hand and bring your left hand to your left foot. Assess how you feel here. If this doesn't feel like a deep enough stretch, go ahead and pull your legs in and bring your chest upwards into bow pose or bow pose. I'm not sure which one it is. Slowly release out of that, and we are going to prepare for a shoulder stretch next. So starting on our right side, you're going to take your right arm and extend it outwards like so. Take your left foot and bring it behind you. Use that momentum to turn your body over. And you will feel a deep stretch in your shoulders, in your pectoralis muscles. And maybe this is too much for you, so maybe your foot doesn't come all the way here. Maybe instead you're just laying on your side like this, and that's okay too. So work up to this expectation. And we're gonna stay here for a few moments. So feel free to maybe walk that right hand up, maybe walk it down, get that full range of motion in that shoulder socket. Let's go ahead and flip on out of that back onto your stomach, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So take your left hand outwards, make it straight, take your right foot and use that momentum to bring your body over.
Again, maybe your foot doesn't come all the way over, maybe you're just sitting on your side. And don't forget to walk your hands and your arms up and down to get the full range of motion. So let's go ahead and flip out of that, and we are going to come onto our knees to practice our camel pose. So first I'm going to show you guys what camel pose is. This here essentially is camel pose. I know this is not necessarily a beginner pose, but I'm going to show you guys how to get into this pose, or at least the steps to work yourself into it. So let's start by putting your hands on the lower of your back and push your hips forward. And while you're pushing your hips forward, let your upper spine curl backwards. So maybe this feels easy. Maybe this feels hard. If this is hard, just stay here and practice. If this is easy, go ahead and take your right hand and begin to walk it downwards. And the goal is to reach for your ankles. So maybe you reach your ankles, maybe you don't. And if you don't, this here is a good exercise to get closer to it. So I have my right hand down and I'm letting my left arm just go in circles. This is just giving my body that flexibility that it needs to eventually go into a full camel pose. So let's come out of that and practice on the other side. So walk your left hand down. Maybe your hand only comes down to your butt, and that's okay too. Just find a stable position here. And if you can reach your ankle or reach your shin, then that's great. So take your right arm and just kind of circle it back. And if you're here, give your body that trust and bring that right arm down. Now you are fully into camel pose. Phew. Okay, let's go ahead and push out of that. And we just did a super duper deep stretch for your spine. So once I do a stretch like that, I always like to do a counter pose. So let's come onto our butts and we're gonna prepare for plow pose. Now I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to get in this. So plow pose is as you see here. I'm starting on my back, I'm using the momentum and flipping myself over. I'm essentially sitting on my neck and my shoulders, and I'm allowing my spine to just curl backwards. Now I understand that this is not a beginner pose, so I'm going to show you guys a few things to do. So let's do a knee hug. So lay on your back and bring your knees to your chest, and you want to bring your knees as close to your chest as you possibly can, and just rock here. This is going to get your body, your spine, your hips ready for what you have to do in order to get into plow pose. So we're just going to rock back and forth here. Really try to bring your knees as close to your chest as possible. I know I already said that, but I'm going to reiterate it. So as you see here, I am pulling my knees into my chest, doing small movements here. Now, once you have that down and that feels fine, let's incorporate some core movements. This will help you get into plow. So I'm gonna kind of just push back and forth, lift my hips up, bring them back down. We'll call these hip raises because this movement right here is how you're gonna push yourself into plow pose. And once you have that down, let's push all the way back into plow pose. So let your feet come over your head, and maybe it feels good just to sit here. Get used to this position. I'm gonna tell you it does not feel good to start, but play with your feet here, play with your legs, and when you're ready, bring your feet all the way down and bring your hands out. This is what you are gonna be working up to. This is not a comfortable position, so it definitely takes practice, but I gave you guys all of the steps and all of the tools to get into this pose. So let's release out of this counter pose and we are going to work with our yoga wheel next. So I know I said that the yoga wheel is optional, but I definitely suggest and recommend this if your goal is to increase your spinal flexibility and really deepen your arch. So what you're going to do with your yoga wheel is sit on the ground with it behind you and curl your back over the wheel. And maybe this is enough for you here. This is a great starting point. So let your arms come open, let your chest open up here, let your head fall back. And maybe this is a great stretch for you here. So start here. Maybe take a few minutes here, take a few days here, take a few weeks here. Go at your own pace and what feels good to you. And when you are ready to advance to another level, push off onto the wheel with your feet. And you will see that it naturally puts you into a back bend here. So this is getting even deeper into that stretch, deeper into that arch. And you can actually feel the yoga wheel massage almost every vertebrae in your spine. I absolutely love the yoga wheel because it feels so good. It's such an easy stretch. This is a lazy stretch, I like to call it, because if you don't feel like really getting down and moving your body a whole lot to get into your stretches, all you have to do is lay back onto this wheel and let it do the work for you. And once you're in this position, if you want to get deeper, just rock back and forth here. This is a very intensive stretch, so coming out of this, you want to be very careful and go slowly. So first, extend your legs outwards, slowly lower your butt to the ground. Use your arms to push you up if you need to, and bring your head and your neck back up last. Now we are going to go into our yoga strap part of this video. So we're going to go into wide straddle, so bring your legs out wide as you can. Maybe the widest that you can go is only right here, and that is okay too. You will always get more flexible as time passes, so work up into being this wide. So go ahead and grab your yoga strap, and the stretch that we're about to do is a side body stretch like so. And maybe this is too hard for you, so that is where the yoga strap comes in. So in order to use the yoga strap, hook it onto one of your feet. So we're going to start with our right side. So I'm going to put it onto my right foot, and I'm going to use the strap part to help bring my body over. Now for me, I'm pretty flexible, so this I don't really need. I can get very close to it, but I'm showing you, you might be right here, and that is exactly what it's for. It's to help you organically get into your stretch to where you get to the point where you don't even need it to do this stretch. So this is how you would work into this stretch. Now when you become a little bit more advanced, you'll be able to grab your foot like so with the opposite hand. And when that gets too easy, use your right hand to grab your left foot, and that will intensify the stretch. So ultimately, this is the stretch that you are working up to. This is the stretch that I did in my more advanced video, but I gave you the steps and the sauce on how to get into this stretch if you have never done it before. So let's slowly come out of this stretch, and we are going to prepare to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I showed you how to do it with the strap. I personally do not need the strap, so I'm just going to walk through this stretch with you, but I'm going to do it without the strap. So let's go ahead and take our right hand and bring it over to your left foot. And from here, you should know about what you want to do for your next step in this stretch based on how you felt on the other side. Now, I will say, guys, I had the most technical difficulties recording this video. I am so sorry, but as you see, my camera decided it wanted to lose focus on me, and I did not realize this until I was done filming. But we are just going to sit here in this side body stretch, just listen to my voice, and I will walk you through the rest of this video. So now we are going to slowly come out of this side body stretch. Shake it out if you need to, sway side to side, whatever is going to feel good to you. And we are going to prepare for our very last stretch. So let's go ahead and go onto our knees, and we're going to get into puppy pose. So with puppy pose, you're going to start back in that tabletop position. Make sure that your shoulders are aligned over your wrists. Make sure your hips are aligned over your knees. And the movement here is to bring your chest down to the mat. Now, starting off, you may only be right here, and that's okay. With each breath, you'll get a little bit deeper, and before you know it, you will be all the way down here. This is the ultimate goal here. I like to bring my hands behind my head. This gives my triceps a little bit more of a stretch. Sometimes I play with that. Feel free to push back out of it if this doesn't feel good and reset. This is our last and final pose of this video, so feel free to take any organic movements here, do whatever feels good to you, sit here for as long as you need to.
All right, you guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had the most technical difficulties while recording this video. This room is a mess. My eyelash came off in the middle of the video. I really hope that you guys got what you wanted out of this video. If you need any extra help with your spinal flexibility, please see my other videos. I don't know where they're gonna pop up, but I will link them in this video as well as in the description below. If you love this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to drop me a comment and be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, be sure to follow me on my socials at the Jess Nicole, at Jess Right Fitness on Instagram, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.